Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam. Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Today is Tuesday. Let me just fix this here because we do not have Counselor Anderson and Governor Haley. Okay, let's get rid of that. And we'll get right to it. Good morning, everybody. Today is Tuesday, January 9th, 2023. I'm just going to log off and start over. It is Tuesday, January 9th, 2024, and you are in the Java Cafe. We are talking with Counselor Tania Anderson this morning. She's going to be with us in just a few moments, but let's go in the Java Cafe and see who is in this morning. Leslie, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room. Pastor Marion, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room this morning. Mama Java, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room. Also, Donna, good morning. Good to see you in the room. Michelle, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room this morning. Thankful to be on the wake up list as said by AM host Gina Rogers and Kirk Franklin. Good to hear about them. Aaron, good morning. Welcome back again. Good to see you in the room. Opal, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room as well. Pam, good morning. Good to see you in the room. Haven't forgot about you. You know what that means. I think I got everybody that's in this morning. Let me just check and make sure everything is set with Counselor Anderson. This is Civic Engagement Week. We had the awesome pleasure yesterday of speaking with former City Councilor Kendra Laura, and she really shared from a perspective of the mental health impact of being a civic engagement leader. I'm going to get in trouble. Sister Debbie, good morning. That goes back from the days when Bishop Foxworth used to call her that. I can't call her that. Sister, but she is a member of the Mother's Board. So Sister Debbie, good morning. I know you're sitting there laughing. Good to see you in the room this morning. But we did have the opportunity to speak with former Counselor Kendra Laura yesterday in that vein of mental health. We have our day themes, Mental Health Monday. And so in the theme of Civic Engagement Week, I thought it was important to speak with her. We're also going to speak with former City Councilor Ricardo Arroyo very soon as well. We need to get that scheduled. It won't be in Civic Engagement Week, but Councilor Laura really spoke to a few things. One was the mental health impact on her as a civic leader in general. And then we talked about the fact of the compiled things that she deals with or dealt with rather as a Black woman who also Afro-Latina who also speaks Spanish. She talked about the intentionality of the removal of DEI, a lot of the foundation to the equity to have people in her demographic in leadership. And I just want to also name for our Civic Engagement Week, those are inclusive of 3 women of color. Kendra Laura, today Tania Anderson, and tomorrow our City Council President Ruth C. Lugien. And then on Thursday, we're going to have Henry Santana as well. And so I just want to raise that. And she continued to talk about the importance of us as community not leaving our elected officials that share our values, that advocate for us, to not leave them in the background. Let me just check something here real quick. Okay. The other piece that she spoke to, well, continuing in that vein, is the fact that we need to show up and not allow, I talk about it often, and I'll be honest, I was quite surprised yesterday because on Twitter, I thought there were going to be a little more trolls because these people, and she talked about this, there is an intentionality of going after DEI. And so, as I was getting ready to say, a lot of the DEI work that was brought to surface, or the need for it, came to its heightened sense post George Floyd. Everything that COVID exacerbated around health disparities and whatnot. But just a few years later now, 65% of that money in those positions are gone. There is a intentional undercurrent to break critical race theory, DEI, and everything that rectifies history, that calls out white supremacy and demands equity. There is an intentional movement to end all of that. And so she talked about that, and also really talked about the impact on her mental health rather. So I thought it was important. Yes, serious Java this morning. We're going to get real serious once our counselor gets in the room. I'm still checking to make sure that she is all set to come in. Hold on. All right, just making sure she has everything. But it is a serious topic, real. That civic engagement piece, and I talked about before Council Lara got on yesterday, the importance of the fact of us staying engaged, not only on the national level. There's a whole lot going on the national level. Let me deviate for a little bit. So yesterday I played the video and talked about President Biden's right now inability to confidently say that he can secure the young vote and the black vote. And he went to Emmanuel AME Church yesterday, I believe, to commemorate the shooting that happened there in Charleston. Not Charleston. I believe it was Charleston. I'm not sure. But how can I say this? He was interrupted. And given what happened there, I just found that quite interesting, and I didn't know at what part of his speech he was interrupted. And there needs to be peace in the world. Israel, Gaza, Palestine, there needs to be peace, period, for all humanity. But it was just quite interesting to see on the national stage a lot of the issues that conflate themselves. This is why we have to stay engaged and have to stay informed, because so many things can be conflated in real time by media. Councilor Laura yesterday talked about the narrative that the media was putting out about her. I said to her, there are some things that were irrefutable. And what I meant was that there was something that happened. She got pulled over. That was it. And she clarified some things that the narrative in the media was very different. And I had an interesting text debate this morning. Am I part of the media? A little bit. I'm a community voice. But mainstream legacy media, often with an agenda, put a lot of information out there that was incorrect. And then they put certain things out there with no context. She talked about the issue with her license. All of us have been through issues with the RMV. 10 months waiting on get something rectified with her license. And it's not capping or anything, but the point that I'm making is civic engagement, and had a conversation last night. Civic engagement is more than, I think Asia talked about this on social media. It's more than the sound bites that we see. Even in reference to our guest coming on this morning, somebody put a video together of certain sound bites that made her look like she is just a hateful, horrible person. And so let me ask you in the comments, describe your level of civic engagement in one word. Are you civically engaged? Outside of just listening to me, What news outlets do you watch? What newspapers do you read articles in? Are they known to be right leaning? Are they known to be center? Are they known to be center left? And so it is important that we have multiple outlets of information, and then also know the agenda, the owners, the backers of said outlets. All right, let's go into the comments and see. Real says that's just media. Media isn't coverage anymore. It's quick clips and opinions. That definition has changed in the last, I would presume that Real is saying in the last 5 years. Michelle is saying, remember, it's Gina. They talking about the artist there. I'm not going to try to tiptoe too much. Heidi said that we are more engaged with Cat Williams and his nonsense than national issues. We are going to have a conversation at some point in Java After Dark, and Cat Williams is probably going to come up. Julianne, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room. Sharon Cornelius, good morning. Good to see you in the room this morning as well. I think I got everybody in the comments. Sharon said that she is engaged. Michelle says that she is hashtag active, the Bay State Banner, MSNBC, NBC 10 Boston, Black Enterprise Magazine, 1988 to present. So also, if you're engaged, where do you get your civic information from? Where do you get information from about your electeds, about what's going on in the community? Where do you get your information from? Let me know in the comments there. All right. Talk about media. Chanel Remy in the city, doing a lot of things in the media. Growth is inevitable. And Queen, we see that you're growing and doing a lot of things outside in community. Good to see you, Remy, this morning. And shout out to her. She put a post up yesterday. We got some vets in the room this morning. Dave, good morning, brother. Good to see you in the room. But again, shout out to Remy that's doing great things over at 98.1. And in the when I said outside, she's very active in spaces where they're green spaces, climate change, things like that. Pam says, we love you, Remy. Michelle said another civic resource. Java with Jimmy, civic engagement groups on Facebook. Absolutely. Sharon is saying, yes, I need to look at. Okay. Y'all are in a whole different conversation in here. Besides Java with Jimmy, I have no idea. And so it is important that we consume multiple outlets of information, and not just any, but I often go to Fox News. Wow. I need to have a sense of what the other side is saying. I'll be honest, it's also a little bit entertaining because the white supremacist, low IQ folks sometimes are just, if you move in political punditry, some of these folks, you know what they're going to say. You begin to learn their mannerisms, similar to he who used to occupy the White House. I would sit and laugh at some of those press conferences. Sad subject, but just if you study people and their mannerisms and whatnot, it can tend to be entertaining. And so you do have to have some context of their political stance. You have to have some context of the owners of certain outlets. Who is on the board? Who's on the editorial board? What are their stances? Who have they endorsed? I'm going to leave that right there. Anthony is saying, heavily engaged both by professional obligation and also because it fills my soul. I like to consume media from both traditional media sources like the Globe, CNN, MSNBC, and also social media. And I think social media today is a huge part of media consumption. But one of the things that is concerning is anyone can create an account. Anyone can create a website. There are sites like Wikipedia, and a disclaimer in case, somebody's watching or whatever. The contributions that individuals can make to Wikipedia sometimes aren't always fact-checked. A lot of media, I'll be very honest and transparent. One of the reasons I struggle with embracing the term of media and journalists is research. Well, first is accuracy. Never want to put out wrong information, but that requires a certain level of research, of which I don't have a lot to do that. All these news outlets, they have interns and all this stuff, and they go on the internet and all this other stuff and do their research. We have to be sure that the social media outlets that we're getting the information from have accuracy. And we have to learn the difference between journalism and commentating. I am a commentator. By trade, I am not a journalist. I give opinion. I don't just give facts. I give facts when they are accurate, and then I give a little opinion about them. And so you also have to consider, after folks move beyond the fact, they're going to give you an opinion. And I've said this on this platform before. There is a term called social construction. Cuff Ferguson over at UMass, Professor Cuff Ferguson over at UMass Boston, talked about that every time we have an experience or conversation, it informs us. And at any point after that, we have a similar, or that experience or that conversation's influence on our lives influences the next incident or conversation where that influence had influence. Kind of like that scripture, the good that I would do and the will that I didn't do, and then therefore, yeah. What I'm saying is telling stories, information, and getting different sources of information with filtering their political stance, their backing, is very, very important. Let's go back into the comments. Julianne said I need to start reading these comments before I post them up. Sister Debbie says NBC, CBS, and Java with Jimmy. Who else did I miss? Remy said, good morning, Pam, and love you too. Michelle said, I agree with knowing the other side's mindset and behavior. Absolutely. And so it is important. I am just trying to figure out where our counselor is. This one, the only thing I could think is she could be doing emergency business. Okay. Hold on for 1 second. Hold on. All right, just got a text. Okay. I just got a text from her. Give me 1 second. So all right, she's going to come on in 10 minutes, so I'm going to need to figure it out. I asked her to make it 9 minutes. But the civic engagement piece, the whole point of this week, Julian said, we love our Jimmy. Tell us about life. Not right now. Talking about civic engagement, and Julian's on working for the city. Please be sure this evening to tune in to the mayor's State of the City. We have State of the State. We have State of the Union, the president does, and the mayor is doing State of the City this evening, I believe, at 7 p.m. Hold on for 1 second. It's going live on Channel 5 WCVB at 7 p.m. this evening. Let me just make sure I have that information correct for you. Come on. Okay. This is just my ticket. I believe it starts at 7 p.m. this evening. That's the ticket. I need to get the actual. Where is it? Where did it go? State of the City ticket. Public. Okay, here it is. 7 p.m. I was right. Should have been confident. 7 p.m. this evening. Turn into Channel 5. Julianne put the link actually here. So that is the hyperlink that you can actually watch on the City of Boston's website or Channel 5 as well this evening, and find out from her what the past year has included and what she's forecasting for this coming year. Budgetary priorities, programming. We asked her the other day about violence. Mass and Cass went down to almost empty. It's fluctuating. Education, my understanding from a source is that BPS is going to be a big part of her speech. She's acknowledging some great wins for the city and some community members. And so tune in to hear the good, bad, and the ugly about the state of our city. All right. Remy is saying we live in a world full of we live in a world of we live in a world full of unqualified and unpaid journalists. Too many are influencing people with opinion and bias and not concerned with facts at all. And I think that's dangerous. And to be very transparent, that's an issue that I deal with. But I always also tell you all this is an opinion. And I just said a few minutes ago, I'm a commentator, but wanting to have that accuracy when information is given out, stats, data, definitely our health information, and things like that. Let's go back in. And Anthony is also saying, is it possible to tune into the Civic Organizing Summit this weekend virtually, or will more in-person spaces be open? Julianne said, not going to lie, a few surprises, announcements tonight for sure. And so to Anthony's question, I know when the guest was on, they said they were going to live stream the fireside chat. I think there are workshops and breakouts. We did ask the young lady, Natalia, if they could work with the venue to open up some more slots. I understand some community leaders have reached out to the administration wanting to ensure that there is as much access as possible for residents, not just them, as just got a very interesting email. All right, I thought that was the counselor. They want to ensure that as many people as possible are civically engaged. And so, Anthony, we don't have an update on that. Julianne, I'm not sure if you can text somebody in, but see where that is. I will also check. I'm supposed to be covering the Civic Engagement Summit on Saturday, but I got another appointment on Saturday yeah. So I will be stopping by there, Anthony, to try to get some footage as well. Again, for those of you, especially on Twitter, how y'all doing? Counselor Anderson will be with us in just a few moments. She had to take care of a personal matter or assist someone with a personal matter last evening and is taking care of it or finishing up with that right now. So we are definitely glad to have her to get ready to come in a few moments. What else did I need to cover? Tomorrow, City Council President Ruth C. Lugienne is coming in to speak with us to talk about Anthony Passes Jimmy. What? She's also talking about her inauguration event that is taking place tomorrow evening. This is really Civic Engagement Week. State of the City tonight. Councilor Ruth C. Lugienne. Julianne, I'm mixing up your name with Ruthie's. Her inaugural celebration tomorrow night, and then there's something else I believe going on Thursday as well. And then there's the Civic Engagement or Civic Organizing Summit that is taking place on Saturday. And so can't reiterate how important it is to stay civically engaged, not just with voting, parent-teacher associations, neighborhood associations. That also automatically addresses things like public safety, public works, a local beautification, working with your counselor to say, hey, we want a few trees here. We want some of those planted pots, in this center. And so it is a whole lot more. Anthony Passes Jimmy on Saturday. He could do that. Listen, we need correspondence. But Anthony can go and be a presence, but Anthony and them can teach a whole class and do a whole Civic Engagement Summit themselves. Remy said, no stones. No stones thrown counseling services. Listen, let me pause for a minute. We talk a whole lot about mental health in this space. This is a Black woman that does individual third-party billing therapy. So this is her company that's here. No stones thrown counseling services. Meaning, people that live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. No judgment. So if you're looking for counseling and therapeutic services, reach out to No Stones Thrown Counseling Services. You can reach them at 617. No, I'm messing. Good to see you in the room, sis. So proud of everything you're doing and being a champion, a certified, trained champion for mental health. Award committees. Aaron, thank you. Thank you, Dina, for what you do in community. And getting back to my point about civic engagement, Aaron also mentioned ward committees right now is where it's at. There are caucuses going on for the presidential election, but ward committees, they endorse, they hold signs, they help fundraise. Ward committees are key. Get the Davis system back on again soon to kind of go more into a lot of the what is a caucus? What is a ward committee? What is an endorsement? What does that include? Should you endorse? And what weight do endorsements have? I'm telling y'all that endorsements that don't come with money and volunteers, and I did my little post and and haven't given a dollar. I've privately asked some folks to go help, but we got to know the difference. And we have to also understand how we muscle up our own political weight. It's Lugian. Thank you. I know. I was Lugian. Thought it was Lugian. Okay. Somebody's going to phonetically spell it out in my text in just a minute. Hold on. The inaugural celebration is I love folks. Clarity for it. It is actually tomorrow, January 10th, from 6 to 9 p.m. at Artists for Humanity. There is a link to register. And we will get that in, or if one of the team could put that in, I believe there's a link. And so that is part of the civic engagement week as well. And so reason I just said we'll get the Davis system back on. They were actually back up to come this week. Today, actually, to talk about ward committee. Not just ward committee, but other civic engagement information. And so, Dina, we'll get that set up soon to talk about ward committees. Anthony or Aaron, if one of you is still in and have a few moments, feel free to put it in the announcements. Let me stay quiet because I ain't going to say nothing nice. I'm going to stand beside him. Aaron, that could be, oh God, I'm going to get in trouble. All right, our counselor is going to be in just a few moments. Lou, guess what? Our counselor is coming in tomorrow. We're going to have her say it. I know I did an on the street interview with her recently, and some of you seen the behind the scenes bloopers clip that she was a part of. And there was one day I was running my mouth and said, oh God, I butchered her name. Terrible. And it is important. We're joking about it now, but it is important to be sure to pronounce people's names correctly. First names and last names. Huge. I have an issue with people drop off my S, let alone not pronouncing it right. Our counselor is getting ready to come in. As I mentioned, she assisted someone and she does this. This isn't a 9-to-5 job. And so we thank her for still coming in. Let me get ready, just finish with the comments. Hey, Jimmy and fam, I'm looking to the Civic Engagement Summit, more slots. Happy to pass along information. Julian, let me know for sure. The hyperlink to Counselor and Counselor Anderson might be able to help us here as well. To Counselor Roofsy's event tomorrow is right there, hyperlink, so you can fill that out as well. All right, We're going to bring our counselor in just a second and say good morning to her and chat with her. Um, and here we go. Counselor,
Morning.
good morning. First, let me just say, not going into details, but you were doing constituent services last night. Had to wrap that up. And so we thank you for still coming in because supporting people can be very interesting. We talked with our counselor, former counselor Laura yesterday about the impact of being a civic leader, the mental health impact. So let me start as I always do, with and more than usual. There's a lot going on. So let me just ask you with all due respect, how is Tanya doing?
I'm doing good. We say Alhamdulillah, all praise due to God. Um, I'm doing good. I think there are other people that have way more to complain about. So, Alhamdulillah.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate that. And it's so interesting. And I'm sure you didn't get a chance, but when you get a chance, and I mean, her, so I mean, you could probably do the same episode of Counselor Laura did, but to hear it from somebody else, in her freedom, post, not see, I wasn't going counselor, I wasn't going to laugh. In her freedom post not being a counselor. And so it just, I think it would do your heart a little bit of good. Just there's some encouragement in there as well. And I know you have your own relationships and talk. And so counselor, there are so many things that I want to talk about, the website, things that you're doing for D7 and whatnot. And I'm going to do better. I won't call it foolishness. Let's get some of the noise out the way, if you don't mind. The inauguration, you were, interestingly captured with what could perceived with some level of intentionality. I'm going to not try to be as opinionated here. What is it, counselor, that you have to say on one side? Because it's not just the trolls. I've seen some people that share our, melanin and, things like that, that said, why didn't she just take the oath? How do you respond to that whole thing of what happened last Monday?
Yeah, so I thought something that was very small, a very emotional moment. If you can, just walk with me through my journey for about 2 seconds here. Like,
We'll walk with you.
you're basically campaigning. First, you have won the election the first time, and you do it for the sake of love. You don't do it for money, for sure, but you do it for the love of the people, and you do it because you think that that legislation is still the best place to make changes. And so you jump in, you put yourself on the line, you jump in, and it's my decision. I'm not a victim. um, and then you do it again, right? And then you win again, and then you remember. I was definitely thinking about Cancelara. I was definitely thinking about my colleague Councilor Royal,
Yep.
and what they had gone through, and who was there and who wasn't. I was happy for my new colleagues. I was excited. I was the happiest person that day. If you know me in person, I tend to be timid, but unless I have to speak up. But if I in one-on-one, I'm great, right? Like I talk to you, but if I'm in a group, I am a total introvert. But in the back with my colleagues, I was the happiest person. I was the person who was just trying to cheer up everybody. It was Councilor Mejia's birthday. I was just making jokes and laughing off to try to settle my emotionalities, and I was feeling them, right?
Okay. Yep.
Um, I when they placed me in the back, no one could see me, but this person who was sneaking the the camera, because I'm very short and everyone else is tall, and I was completely blocked. No, my children couldn't see me. No one could see me from the audience's view, and so I thought it felt pretentious. One, because not everyone can hear what the words are that they're repeating.
Mhm.
So I was trying to be very careful in mouthing them or repeating them internally so that I can repeat the words that I actually promised to God. An oath is such a serious thing. And I'm swearing to God, right? You're swearing to God to keep your word. And that's all I was trying to do. At some point, I put my head down and I was nodding yes, yes, because I would check off what was being said. And then especially when it gets to God, sometimes people throw Jesus in there. And I am a fan. I believe in Jesus. I think Jesus is the Messiah. And we have this belief, but we don't personify God. We just say God,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Allah, the one God. And so for me, in the name of God has to be on point. It has to be just God, and it can't associate partners. And that's why I was being very careful, and I thought I was doing it to be more sincere, and it just turned out to be something completely different.
See, folks, this is why, and I'm going to say this, counselor, with a different level of confidence. It's 2024. I'm moving differently and have no shame about it. And get some of that little chutzpah, if you will, from you. This is why Black media outlets need to be leading in telling our Black stories, because before I go there, let me back up a little bit. One, I ask often how you all are doing. Thank you for being transparent in what you were dealing with that day. You going in as a counselor now is very different from when you went in the first time. You're going in excited. You said it. You're going in excited. You won. Now you sitting back and listening to that oath, and it's like, oh, wait a minute. And so thank you for being transparent about that. But what I was also hearing, and I'm going to name this because I thought about it, it's interesting that you have to over assert your Black joy, that you were happy. It came, how I perceived it was you were using it. Counselor Presley talks about Black joy is a form of resistance. You were using it to fight with the pendulum of going forward, but also looking back at the last 2 years, if I am correct. So I did notice that, and it's a shame that you have to assert your Black joy in that manner. Coupled with that, the other piece is that I heard was that you were taking a lot of self reflection, and everybody knows that you're a woman of faith. And so, not totally surprising to me. And then I also did, I saw your statement, and I said to somebody last night, when a Black woman starts off a statement with S-O comma, there was so much contained there. And so, listen, and Heidi brings it out, the trolls targeted you that day. So again, as Counselor Laura
Thank you, Heidi.
named yesterday, certain media outlets get a whole, I understand that there was some compiled video of you saying that you're an anti-Semite and all this other stuff. I mean, this is why I wanted to offer space for you to tell and give to some extent, as a public official, when that stuff is out there, I won't say, it is always good to make sure that the truth is out there in what you're doing today. Now, some people will say it's cap, as the young people say and stuff like that. But is there anything else that you would like to say in that space so we can move on to the work?
Yeah, it's, to allude to what Heidi said, that was really much ado about nothing, right? Like triggered by the right wing social media platform called what is it, Libs of TikTok, whatever, which seeks out progressive public figures for ridicule. It's really the same old story: racism, sexism, anti-immigrant sentiment, Islamophobia, xenophobia, or and anti-Semitism at times. They pick
Can I
and
ask
choose.
you, counselor, did you participate in anti-Semitism?
So I think obviously I know why you're asking, and I think
Yes.
um
I'm glad you do.
that is absolutely the most ridiculous thing I've ever been accused of. Not only is part of my family Jewish, Polish, but also like in my staff, also like now I'm sounding like them, right? Like justifying with who I know and proximity. Like, no, wait a minute. I don't have to explain myself. I love everybody, and I've advocated for everyone, and I've grown up around everyone. I I participate in the Jewish Cape Verdean Cedar because we are part Jewish. Like, this is so ridiculous. It
Okay.
is so ridiculous. Like, we literally, like, if you know of the Jewish Cape Verdean Cedar, like, we come together to celebrate together because Cape Verdeans are part Jewish. Like, all of this ridiculousness and vitriol, again, is fueled by hate.
Yes.
And we, in the times of adversity, in the times where we are watching people try to demonize Black women or Black people or Black men or brown people on social media, right? It's the age of social media. Everyone has a platform, and they feel that it's okay for them to spew out their level of animosity or hate toward anyone. And it's dangerous, and it's serious, and it's not okay. I shouldn't have to stand here and justify that I am human and that I have a heart and that I love people. You're dehumanizing me, and you're trying to make it seem like I am an animal, and I am actually the type of person that chooses people by their ethnicity or religion or culture to hate them. You're not just saying that so people can hate me. It is the very ideology or psychology that you have about me historically that you are now projecting, and you are pretending that this is about me getting up and saying don't kill babies. This is about you don't think that I'm human to begin with. This is about, I mean, the things that I've heard, the things that they've said to me, like, may God forgive them, may God guide them, may God purify their hearts. I don't have to entertain that stuff. I literally sit there sometimes and I text back everybody that engages, even the people that are saying, go back to your country, we're going to kill you, take off your scarf, you effing this. Now, then they get into Mayor Wu. It's absolutely not okay. Don't call her Chinese, whatever. You are disgusting.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you sit here and you say, oh, okay, well, now I have to answer. No, I'm not justifying. I'm responding because I do realize that these are unfortunate souls. Like, these are people that are lonely or that have some sort of mental illness. And I'm not rationalizing. I'm not trying to make excuses for their demons. I am saying you have a diseased heart. You have a problem. And I have to sit there and answer you because I feel bad for you. Yes. And I feel that you deserve response. I feel that you deserve attention. So I sit there and I respond because I feel bad. But at some point, I was exhausted of answering everyone. No, that's not true. No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that as a disrespect. I am not like that. Please forgive me. After some point, you're exhausted. So then you say, let me suspend this for one day because I know myself. I'm very, my staff calls me OCD. That's fine. I'm very, very peculiar on making sure I finish what I start, that I'm committed. And so I have to answer, right? I have to say, oh, someone emailed me or someone called or someone, I have to answer. I answer my own calls and people yell. And by the end of that conversation that they told me that I should die and go to hell, whatever, I answer and I change them. At the end of the conversation, oh, I didn't know you was this normal. Oh, I'm sorry, we started off this way. Oh, okay, by the way, I have Muslim friends. I don't want you to think I hate Muslims. I suspended my Twitter. Here comes the tabloids. They do a whole editorial
about your social media. Now, let's say, I believe there's some convo about whether, public officials can or cannot block and all that other stuff. I just want to name that so the trolls will be like, James, you're not being balanced. But go ahead, counselor, finish, because you
can choose which platform to use for.
If you want to suspend yours, you're not blocking nobody. You suspended your account. Like, that's not against the law.
I block non-constituents. Yes, I do. They're not my constituents. After a while, if I can't get through to you, I'm answering, I'm being polite, and I'm saying, please forgive me. I didn't mean it that way. I love this country. And as I said in my note, no one loves this country more than the immigrants. I mean, African Americans have to fight to say we're human and don't treat us as a second-class citizen. In fact, we feel like we're not home, so it feels like you're homesick all the time. Like, you want to go back to Africa, but then Africans have been divided, so then they have their stereotypes about you, but then they commoditize or monetize on your culture. So then there's that divide and all these issues, and you don't feel like you can go anywhere. And then you're suffocating. Then in comes the Black immigrant who is fighting because their country is poor, or because, like me, I was a child, I didn't have a choice. I got put on a plane by myself. I get here, I'm in the projects, I'm fighting, I'm working hard to get my brothers and sisters here. And these tears are not for the trolls. These tears are for my people.
Yes, ma'am.
And I get here and I'm anti-American. It's so freaking ridiculous.
So, counselor, I often give space and have to. We have a clinician in here and whatnot. If you need to break for a second or log off, please do, because you deserve that right to, one, get in a safe place publicly where you can give context to who you are with all due respect.
It's all
in here, a freaking human being.
It's all good, brother. Let's normalize tears on Black skin. It's all good. We're here for it.
Yes, ma'am.
We're here for it. We're taking no prisoners. We're doing it all the way. You come with your BS. God is in control, and you can threaten, you can do all of that. Yes, everyone has some sort of fear. Everyone gets scared. Every mother worries about her children. Everybody worries about their family or their friends. You get into politics, you're not thinking that, I'm going to put my friends at risk or my family at risk. You're not thinking that. You're not thinking that people are actually trying to harm you. So, but you know what? Like, at some point, my faith has to be completely unmoved, unwavered. Yes. At some point, I have to know who I am and why I came here. I am exactly the same person that I am when you interviewed me a few months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. I am the same person.
Yes, ma'am.
So you want to bring this nonsense, Boston Herald? You want to bring this nonsense, Newsweek and all, and Channel 5 and all of your ridiculousness? I'm here for it. I came to work. I came to serve. And that is what I'm doing. I'm not going to self-prophesize about being a soldier and all that stuff, but that's exactly what we are.
Counselor, queen, go far, say woman of God. I'll be very honest and transparent. I'm sitting here struggling with the safe space, and then also aware of how people will look and take clips and do stuff and whatnot. And so, but the priority for me was for the community. One of the things this platform is known for is some people that don't know you don't get to see the human side. They only get this narrative in the media. And so I thought that was important. I just want to be honest and name that. And again, still offered at any point in the convo, because we're getting ready to move into the work. I wanted to talk about that to quiet the noise and give some context. And you talk about being the soldier. You talk about being consistent. That, if nothing else, now there's a whole lot I give you, but the consistency is definitely there. When you talked about every time I interview you, every time I talk to you, it's always the same thing. I want to close this part out with sensitivity, and just as Dina said, and as you all know, counselor goes back and looks at everything. Can we provide some good look backs for her on this broadcast today? The mothers are in here. God bless you. Y'all add her to the prayer list. The mothers are in here. God bless you. Tashad is saying she's so glad you got off Twitter. It's a terrible space. Cannot imagine the harassment, and we're aware of it. Anthony also says, we got your back, counselor. We appreciate you showing up authentically every day for our community. Quincy says most consistent. And so just give a few minutes, a couple of seconds for us to breathe, and just, you be good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's all a part of it. And I'm not going to pretend to be like anyone else. I came to the work to be consistent, to work hard, and to properly, hopefully, get our community integrated for once. And that's led me to all of the, digital access platforms that we've created, that we're still creating. I want to say this one last thing.
Yes, ma'am.
I appreciate you thinking about my safety first. And I will honor that. This is not just about me. Look at what happened with, there was a lot of politics behind voting for Council Lujan. There was a lot of nonsense with Council Lara. And there was a lot of, now they beat up our congresswoman every day. They did it to our U.S. attorney. They do it to our attorney general. They will come after every single one, a Black person who is representing the people and trying to do real work. And that is what's happening. My tears and my emotions are because I speak for I look at everybody suffering, and they call me, "Are you okay, sis?" When Congresswoman Presley calls me and says, "Are you okay, sis?" That is, that to me, I'm humbled by that, because I know that she goes through a lot, and they're relentless, and everybody's afraid, and no one knows how to deal with them. No one knows how to tackle this. Black people sit and watch, and you see your representatives get crucified, and you see us going through this stuff, and everyone is afraid. No one knows what to do. I don't blame no one that doesn't call me or doesn't come to my rescue or doesn't protect me. I don't blame anyone. That speaks to the system, the country that we live in, and how much more work we have to do moving forward. That's what I have to say about that.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Yes.
As far as, sorry, I'll wait for you to transition.
Oh, you're good.
I'm happy to talk about the work.
We're done, and I am too. I just wanted to, one again, safe space, and just for the community to hear directly from you, from your perspective, that, you know, all these other folks, they're not many other, Latoya, Kawani, maybe some others could have this conversation with you, but we're here now. And so I thought it was important that the community hears from you. Another huge important thing for the community to hear from you is what you've done the last couple of years. We covered that kind of in the last show, but what is going on? I don't know if you can, but you know, what committee? We know you had Ways and Means. You made a lot of strides there. Let's talk about the good in the hood. I know one of the things that stands out to me, and I don't know if I told you, but technically, I'm your constituent now.
Awesome.
I'm in D7. Okay, so one of the major things I see, you have a website coming from D7. You're asking the community for their input on the design. Let's talk about sort of the D7 and then branch into policy or council in your committee and stuff. What's going on in D7, Counselor?
D7, as you know, is one of the most segregated districts in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
And as you drive through from Back Bay to, I'd say Eggleston on Shawmut,
yep,
you see a stark difference. And so my work on Ways and Means last year was specifically to bring money to D7. Mm-hmm. The answers were in the capital investments. And you saw that I advocated hard. And for the first time, 2 years in a row, we got approximately $300 million in capital investments. Mm-hmm. Not only that, but in ARPA, I negotiated to do an ARC corridor. So the idea of revitalizing streets and squares came from the ARC corridor. Mm-hmm. I created the ARC corridor a couple of years ago, where we would revitalize from Dudley Street to Dudley Street, Nubian Square, all the way to Blue Hill Ave, hopefully connecting to the Big Head Museum. And so it would revitalize the business storefronts all the way, hopefully adding traffic, possibly doing some digital cross-marketing so that businesses or merchants could actually on an app could say, you have a you cut your hair over there, but that gives you a coupon to go to the bodega over there.
So they kind of cross-pollinate.
Right. And that cross-marketing would happen hopefully because you would want to come visit the ARC corridor, the Ottery in Roxbury. And the Ottery, because Roxbury is the heart of Boston. And so the Ottery would be this place that would pump blood into our district. And so that is coming. There are 2 RFPs out, $700,000 each. One for a muralist and the other one to do the storefronts, to uplift the storefronts. Another great project is the Northeastern, a collaboration with Northeastern University. We did an anti-displacement design studio, where urban architects actually went to work with the inventory that Mayor Wu did on parcels and looked at the empty parcels for us to get placekeepers to develop facilities that would actually contribute to our quality of life. So we surveyed the community, artists, and other constituents, and we asked, what do they want?
Mhm.
Hopefully, we want to be able to create some sort of tourism pods where you could go to one parcel and it talks about maybe it talks about Melnia Cass.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And from there, you would touch a kiosk and it would lead you to the next parcel. There, maybe there's an outdoor studio, there's an outdoor theater. You could enjoy that. And then to the next kiosk and on and on.
Mm-hmm.
And so developing these parcels in a real way that actually brought more life into the district. I also, as you know, the website, we have to have a digital space.
Absolutely. Yep.
And a platform. So the website gives you a full inventory of everything District 7. And I mean everything. You want to know about your parking, your sidewalk that you've been waiting on? Do you want to know how many parcels? Do you want to know where they are? Do you want a map of them? Do you want to understand what civic engagement or civic association you should participate in? Do you want to know housing, BHA housing, or private housing? Everything is on there. And then it gives you history. We did a full study with Northeastern students again, and it gives you a history of Roxbury, from the sacking of Boston to segregation, to redlining, to urban renewal, to all the way to BHA segregation, to today. What were the harms? What happened? And how did we get to the assets today? How do we get to the McDonald's and the liquor store and the bodegas or whatever? So we did an asset mapping to understand what the deficits are in order to begin to revitalize the R corridors
In the asset.
because then you would know what we needed.
Mhm.
If we know what we have, we'll know what's missing.
Yep.
That is the anti-displacement studio, again, that does the R corridor and the placemaking. We also I also did an app. So District 7 will be the first of its own to have an app. You can communicate, it pings you, you can like, dislike, you can blog, you can consolidate calendar, you can add an event in your district. You could say, hey, I have this block party. I want it to be part of D7 calendar so everybody can know. You can request for it to be added. You can do constituent service inquiry. It's all on the app. It's amazing, and I'm excited. It's going to launch February 1st.
Oh, that is awesome.
And then, of course, there's the digital marketplace. Imagine us having our own Amazon competing. So our own Amazon, meaning that our own digital marketplace where small businesses could function like Amazon, the marketplace.
Yep. The model. Yep.
To compete with the corporate. And so we want to pilot that in Roxbury. We are in conversation. I'm in conversations with the Chief of Economic Development, Brother Shagun, to look at who is going to work on creating this digital marketplace, but also it should collaborate with Main Streets. So
yes.
A back office, sort of like a calling center with multiple languages that offers tech support online. So you as a business owner could call in and do you go online into the marketplace. You say, I need branding. I need a website, or I need to inventory or automation, whatever. You could actually schedule a specific meeting to do that online and in your language, hopefully. So the two component is, one, it's doing the business as Amazon, but two, with the back office that helps you so that you are maintaining your business. I'm gonna stop there because there's more, but I'm gonna stop there. If you'd like me to share, I'm happy to.
Absolutely. We're interesting with time, with the limits and stuff, but I want to give, if not more, as much equal time to when we address what I call noise, but also there was important space given to give clarity. The other thing I'm thinking is, I have the mayor come on once a month. Counselor Anderson. Can you pronounce counselor? I've been saying Lugian. Is it you pronounce it because I know you know how to pronounce it.
So she says Louis, like the bag.
Okay.
Jean.
Louis. So they was trying to tell me Louis Jean.
Louis Jean.
Zen.
Louis Jean.
Is because folks had me in 2 syllables for a minute. And I was like, okay. We're looking at her coming quarterly. You're my counselor. And so we'll figure out some way to check in with you, even if it's a short segment and not as intense here, but a D7 check-in or something like that. This is the district in which I live. And so there is more opportunity. This platform is available, to you either through coming or this team getting me flyers and stuff. But before we wrap up and go, I did want to ask that is the D7 perspective. Are you free to say to what committee you're leading and whatnot?
I don't think I'm free to say.
Okay.
I think I can hint.
You give me 1 + 1 and I'll find 5.
Okay.
You could give a little bit of hint.
The 2 committees that I'll probably chair directly align with accountability on everything that I'm doing currently in D7. I know that's hard. I know that's kind of hard, but is it hard? It's not hard for you.
No, it stumped me a little bit because my mind went to post audit, which we technically
I wanted post audit. Let's be clear. I'm still struggling with that one. I wanted post. People don't understand the powers of post audit,
especially coming off of you go from one extreme to the other. You're coming off of Ways and Means, and then you want to go to post audit to see what happened.
Right. So I don't know. Councilor Jean is probably still finalizing.
Okay.
Hopefully, I told her my number 1 is post audit. To be totally transparent, I hopefully she does that. If not, I'll be taking again something that is also very powerful in terms of accountability. You'll have to think of that. And then it's going to be an interesting year. I mean, I think that you have GovOps that, it all comes down to the vote, right? So if you don't have the votes, don't even bother. You're not that powerful with GovOps. Yep. You have to sort of work with all of the votes. And then I think that Ways and Means, once you learn it, and right now I'm the person who knows it the best out of all my colleagues, because of experience. Once you know it, you know how to navigate it, and you know how to track it. And then if you don't have post audit, you also know how to file for audits. Okay. So right now I'm the person, yes, the techie. I'm the person that is probably the most qualified of my colleagues to ask the questions. Where's the money? What happened? Why aren't you doing it this way? And so I think that we have a really good, just so be clear, I think we have a really good administration in terms of like our chiefs. There are a couple of cabinets that I think needs help with improvements, for sure. A lot of help, but for the most part, most people are very receptive. They respond. They are, they're respectful. But there are a couple of departments that I would be like, oh my God, what are we doing? But for the most part, and that's everything. You can't have it perfectly, but for the most part, I think people are very good in the city. Like, people care, people want to do their work, people are very hardworking people. So I appreciate them. And I look forward to working with them. And hopefully they don't see accountability as like a personal, challenge or, attack. It's just, it's our job, literally. So I will be filing for some audits. I will be filing, for especially with reparations task force. I want to know who wrote it, who wrote the RFP. I want to know where did that come from. I have a lot of questions, and so I'll be looking forward to doing that work.
That's one cabinet areas that could use improvement.
That is the task force, you mean?
Well, the task force falls under equity. cabinet, right?
Yes,
Yep.
you're saying that you feel equity needs help.
Yes, I am.
Okay. And so, hopefully I can help.
I'll sidebar you, and give you some context to that. That wasn't the way
No,
I thought the comment was gonna go, but
no, we can straight
that's
shoot, but that's all good. Like yeah, I agree. I think that people have different styles. It's nothing against
true. Yep.
anyone.
Yep.
I think that styles, and then people have gotten, like, especially Black people so far, like about three have gotten fired out of that cabinet, and so I have questions. I want to understand what's going on. Why are we firing a lot of Black people out of that cabinet? Again, like, I talk like this, and then I don't know if I'm upsetting people. Am I upsetting the mayor? Am I upsetting? Like, I don't want to upset no one. I'm literally trying to be transparent about with my job. And then the people want that for me. My constituents want that for me. And they know that I'm consistent. I work hard. So I got that, right? But when it comes to transparency and accountability, people get in their feelings, and it's like, wait, I do like you. Oh, but if you like me, why are you talking like that? But I'm not I'm not insulting anyone. I'm being respectful. I'm asking the questions to hold for accountability. Like,
this
so
business.
it's a challenging uh place to navigate relationships, and for people not to take it personal and then create vendettas. And it's like, wait a minute, you are getting paid tax dollars to do this. And again, I'm not speaking about anyone particularly.
Mhm.
I'm saying that in general, if anyone in politics, if anyone in the city of Boston in the cabinets take it personal, we have to ask the questions. Why are you taking that personal? That money that you get paid, that's not your money. That is the money of the taxpayers. They're literally our boss. We have to answer to them. And so if you get paid for a job, and then so the mayor gets the money, this is how the budget works. The tax comes in, there's city money, and then there's bonds, so money that she can borrow, and then there's grants, money that's given, right?
Yep.
That comes in. And so we still have to approve grants, we have to approve bonds, right, in the capital, and we have to approve city funds. Sometimes city funds is used in the capital. So if you take a
Yeah.
capital project and you prioritize it with city funds, it's going to get
It
done
can
tomorrow.
It
You
gets
know,
done quicker, but it also takes a different level of programming if that's not from programming money, if it's not
it's a choice.
subsidized by the grants, correct?
Yes, but it's a choice too. Like, if I choose to take city dollars and put it in this capital project, I'm prioritizing it because that means that's important
Budgets
to
do
me.
set, yeah. They set policy priorities. Yep.
And so I don't know if it's policy priority. Sometimes it just happens to be transactional. That is politics. It happens to be that counselor is going to work with you on a level, and you are going to have to prioritize their district. Or they're large. I don't know, but it's not me making assumptions. That is how politics work. And I promised people that I would lead in a way that I would teach them everything that I was learning, and also that I was going to be very transparent and clear about how the stuff works. And so if you're prioritizing something in another neighborhood, but not Roxbury with city dollars, I have to be able to say, well, why? Why did you do that? And
The questions.
Why not the ones in Roxbury? So I really appreciated that this past capital season, fiscal year, the mayor did prioritize Roxbury with city dollars, with the chair of Ways and Means asking her, please, 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 pretty please prioritize Roxbury. So it is important, and representation does matter. Representation does matter. And she did prioritize, she listened, she did prioritize Roxbury with city dollars. Would I've liked more money in a capital? Absolutely. But again, it's a thing where she has to like juggle and say, okay, we're gonna go for Roxbury this year, and then we're gonna go for Mattapan. And hopefully Mattapan is next. And now that gives you an idea of who's gonna be chair of Ways and Means. Hopefully Mattapan is next. So I mean, that's who I'm pushing, right? That's who I'm pushing,
Okay.
and that's who I think is going to get it. But hopefully Mattapan's next. I want Mattapan to thrive. I want
Absolutely.
Mattapan to look beautiful and
Yep.
and to be redeveloped. So hopefully Mattapan is next, and we're going to get all that money in there. But the budget is super interesting, and we all should learn that. I want to leave you with this.
Yes, ma'am.
I do listening sessions and workshops every week. And there are different interest groups or different workshops on different areas. So for example, next week I'm doing budget, and I'll be doing about 4 or 5 of them before the budget process actually begins.
Okay. Can you get us the info? And
Yeah,
we'll make sure
absolutely.
we pump it out.
Absolutely.
2 things I wanted to bring up. One, I brought up with the mayor, and we can't go into it right now, but our boy Domingo is on, and it's one life lost is too much, but violence is becoming an issue again. Every time there's a death or an assault, not a death, every time there's an incident, it's an issue. And so if that could be on your radar, and then also Belinda was asking, and you do some level of this, but add free English classes and free Spanish Creole, so we can help each other. I guess some maybe cross intersection of.
I will make sure that interpreters are available for.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
Sessions. I do the listening sessions in different languages.
Okay.
So just Haitian, just Cape Verdean, just Latino, just Somali, just Indian, because those are numbers in D7. Understand that I'm only hopefully they understand that I'm only district counselor.
Right, D7, yeah.
Prioritize D7. As far as the violence, really quick, we know there's a study with Boston Public Health Commission, but we as Black people have studies, and upon studies, we are indoctrinated with our life experiences to understand exactly what the root of the problem is.
Mm-hmm.
We know that systemic racism has a direct correlation, or is the directly responsible for gun violence in our streets. And so if our city is systemically racist, which it is, if our city is one of the most racist cities in the country, which it is, then we have a gun problem. It is what it is. And the reason the systemic racism that we see is not just in the red tapes that they put in front of us and the red flags and the little technicalities that they use so that we don't get that application because we owe a ticket. It's not just in those things.
Mm-hmm.
It's also in our capital investments in our neighborhoods. And if we invest in our social determinants of health, right? So for example, if I go and I say, hey, capital projects have to be prioritized in Black neighborhoods, and people are like, oh, she's a racist or whatever they say. It's, well, wait a minute. I'm trying to undo the harm. You said address gun violence. That is exactly what I'm doing. If people can live, if I don't have to worry about going from shelter to shelter, if I don't have to worry about electricity or food or my health, then I am focused in school, then I have a healthier life. We know how this works.
And have economic advancement.
And we have economic advancements and options. We're not forcing our young to go into the Black market to push them. Because again, where do the Black gay boys go? Underground. Where do the young, Johnny that doesn't have an after school program and doesn't necessarily, maybe socially awkward or whatever, his health is compromised. On top of that, he has asthma, whatever. Where does he go? He goes underground. And what happens when you deprive us of opportunities for economic development? We have to eat. We have to survive. So you force people into sex, drugs, and all of this crime. And then you force these situations, and then, hence the crime that we see in our communities. We have to address the root of the problem. We have to say to our mayor, to our city councilors, hey, in your ways and means process, and to everyone who's listening, this is super crucial. We have to get involved in the ways and means process and be able to push every single counselor and say, vote the right way, change that capital budget to prioritize social determinants of health, to invest in social determinants of health in Black communities so that we can actually see an impact to curb gun violence.
Not only gun violence, but health and mental health is a part of that as well. Counselor, there is so much. I just wanted to raise the violence, Black men and Black boys. And I think Belinda's giving some clarity with businesses, supporting them so they can get as many patrons as possible, engaging them through language. But this won't be, this is your third, fourth time on here. There will be more time to come. But I got to go jump on the call real quick. And I'm sure you got a lot to do, but Counselor,
I am so sorry for the delay.
No, you're not. Woman, please. I appreciate it because with the constituent you supported last night, and then a lot of this was very heavy today, but I hope that there's some level of relief in you being able to just share some of this sentiment publicly, clarity, and then ending with the work. The one last thing I'll ask you to absolutely end in is describe for me what you're doing for your Black joy.
You know, it's interesting because I'm an elected official, so always in the public light. But what I do for my Black joy is absolutely very personal.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And we go. You done got me a couple of times today. We gonna sidebar after I finish this call. No. In all seriousness, that is right
In
too.
in all seriousness, the things that I hold most dearest to my heart, is what I invest in my personal life. And you can imagine, I'm a mom, and
Mhm.
so I don't talk about that much
Yep.
because it is that personal.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I am absolutely thrilled and blessed, with my family life, and absolutely shout out to my amazing, wonderful husband. I love him to death, and and then I'm so proud of my sons and the things that I do. I do take time in family. Family is a very, very, very important thing to me. So I take my time in mothering. I'm very intentional in every single moment of that, and I take my time in being a wife. So
And that's it. That is it. Counselor, I appreciate you so much. Godspeed. Keep being you. Keep praying for discernment and direction. And
thank you.
you'll be fine. And covering. And again, you've been added to this mother's board list, so you'll be good.
Thank
Um,
you for being so graceful and asking about, did I need to check in? I
yes.
used I used to be a mental health provider. I did in-home therapy, therapeutic mentoring, and intensive care coordination with dual diagnosed clients,
Mm.
and understand the importance of that. I even if I needed it, I didn't take it, but the thought and the intention was pure, and I appreciate you.
Absolutely. You're at the end of the day, you're a human, you're a woman, a mom. I have a mom. And to see here often, because I started to text the team and be like, yo, what do I do? Because I need 2 minutes to get my damn self together.
Look,
Let's-
black women are going to be strong and passionate in our speeches. And that doesn't always translate to, hey, are you okay? Like, wait, are you okay? So and that's real, right?
yes, ma'am.
I think that at that point, I needed to say that. And I honestly, when I start thinking about like what a congresswoman goes through, I do get emotional.
Yep. Yep. Her, you, even and policy differences and whatnot, but even down to our mayor. She's a woman of color that speaks Spanish. So they on her.
Even if she didn't speak Spanish, right? Our mayor too. Like I want her protected. I think that it's horrible. I've been getting direct messages about her now, and it's a different.
They're all trying to we'll be here another 20 minutes. We're going to have to do an after dark one day. Have you on after dark within all ethics that you can. Because a lot of people don't know. And I was talking about the national, we really over time, counselor. This was so good. I hope that you're leaving feeling well. Information was communicated, clarity was given, and it won't be the first. It wasn't the first, and certainly not the last. We'll figure out with the team what the frequency is to have you just do a D7, check-in or something. 10, 15 minutes. What's going on? His update on the website. His what's going on in the community, and that's it.
All right. I put everything on social media, and be doing it on the website as well. The website is Boston District 7, numeric 7, .com. Boston District 7.com. Please give me your feedback. All listening sessions give updates to different community pockets of community.
Correct? I'm sorry. Is that the correct?
That's the correct one.
Okay.
Thank you again, and I appreciate you always. Have a great day, Domingos. Thank you, and Belinda. Thank you so much for being participant and your support.
But counselor, thank you. And
But I heard her on.
Yep. That's just me often. But no,
on the multilingual tech support. I heard on that, and I heard on the support so that they can thrive.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, counselor, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate you so much.
All right. Appreciate you. Peace and love.
Hey, folks, make sure that you all keep our counselor covered, because that's a lot. That is, I was sitting here to get ready to text the team like, okay, I'm going through it. I just think it's important to for them to be able to come for this Black-driven, community-driven media platform to allow them the space to tell their side of the story. These not their side of the story, but to give clarity. And I'll go ahead and say side of the story or narrative, because other folks are trying to tell their story for them and shape a narrative that is demeaning. Y'all got to understand this undercurrent in this country going on right now. Let me get out of here. Thank everyone for your input. Thank everyone for being respectable and hospitable, even when opinions differ. This is a safe space, not only for our electeds, and accountable as well. But I just do it differently. So Anthony, thank you. This was phenomenal conversation. Honored to be in this space today with Java Fam. Absolutely. Heidi, thank you as well. I'm getting off here, y'all. UCB, y'all get 90 minutes today, a real 90 minutes. It's 10:24. Y'all be getting those 90 minutes at 10:12. I'm off of here. Have a great day. Tomorrow, we are talking with Counselor. You heard Counselor Anderson say, Louis Jen. She's going to say it tomorrow. But our city council president is going to be with us tomorrow, and maybe we'll get some clarity about these committee assignments. All right, folks, have a great day, everybody. Make it a great one. Thank you, Heidi, so much, and Michelle as well. I'm definitely be keeping Councilor Anderson in prayer daily, along with our other BIPOC elected officials. And Michelle, I'll be following up with you this week, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great day, everybody. I'm tired, so definitely talk to y'all soon. Peace.